Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video of World of Warships, and this time I'm going to be featuring the aircraft carrier, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So in 2025, or I would say at the end of this year, whether this ship is going to be worth it for steel, because I have seen some players, some people do tend to play CV like me, and they have the question, is the Shinano is better or the FDR is better? Well, I will answer that question, but first of all, there are two things that you should really know. The first thing is that the aircraft carrier spotting rework is coming. Now, Wargaming has said that it will be coming in 2026. We don't know exactly the time when they will release it, but I can tell you one thing, that the stats of FDR that you are seeing right now, they are about to change. So if you want to gamble on this FDR in its current state and you spend steel and you eventually see it getting it changed, don't say anything to me, because that can possibly happen. And also one thing that can potentially happen is, not potentially happen, that actually happened, is going to be that we do get some spotting changes. Now it does kind of not affect the FDR much, as you can see. This is the gimmick of the FDR bombs. You do a lot of damage. We will talk about that, but yeah, I was talking about the spotting changes, yeah, right? So you tend to spot battleships relatively not so much what it used to, because now you have to stay a bit in close to the ship itself to have it hard spotted, which, well, definitely changes out how the consumable works for the patrol fighters. You have to really place the patrol fighters to spot the battleships aggressively if you place them very much in front of the ship itself, like around 6 or 7 kilometers. If you do that, then you can just hard spot the battleship. But in the case of FDR, unlike other CVs which just simply drop the payload, well, FDR can stay around to this area or onto the battleship for a very long time, because you do have tons of planes, so many planes, 14 of them, and you drop with 2 planes, with a single drop, and you just simply harass the battleship. Like in this case, I'm just simply harassing this guy. So if you want a flying Conqueror, then the FDR is kind of like that. Its planes are very slow. It does have, if you fully build your planes with speed in mind, okay, you can achieve 174 knots, and with insane, even then you do have insane HP on the planes. These planes having the 4000 HP which is ridiculously crazy, but the problem is the speed is very slow. They are sluggish planes, and the bigger the A bubble of a cruiser, by the way, 22k damage very casually onto the A6, poor A6 which you can absolutely do that for against Maximilian, the Ristoffen, the Nakimov. You pen their 50mm, or in the case of S6, 30mm deck armor, which basically makes FDR seriously insane in sniping, because the bombs will do damage like crazy, the torpedoes will do damage like crazy. Like in terms of damage performance, the FDR is still very punchy. Problem comes, and I would say that's why it can be very difficult to recommend to you guys compared to the Shinano, that Shinano is just superior. Shinano has smokes, FDR does not, which means that you are straight up having more survivability than FDR. Yes, you do have insane tanky planes in FDR, but these are very sluggish planes, and if you don't know how to dodge flags, you tend to eat tons of flags. If you are not an experienced player, FDR will make your life bad. You actually gonna regret playing FDR. I can tell you one thing, FDR is very difficult to play. FDR needs a lot of understanding how carriers work in general. If you are a very sort of a new player, if you even though like carriers, and if you're thinking by just simply looking at the playstyle, oh my god, he's just absolutely wrecking that battleship. Brother, he has to be isolated fast, then he has to be not very in close to the cruisers with insane anti-air, especially with defensive AA. FDR will absolutely suffer. You have to find out the isolated battleship. If you don't do that, FDR will struggle. Yes, in this case, you look at the damage. You basically did 20k damage to that poor Schlieffen. But remember also one thing. The torpedoes do hurt, but they did come up with one more change. That the torpedoes will be healable. They are not gonna do citadel damage, which is 10%. So you will heal more. So that can also, I would say, nerf the FDR in a bit weird way. Yes, it does also nerf the Shinano, but FDR does suffer a bit more because you really rely on the torpedoes and that damage, citadel damage that you do. But now it can be healable. And even then, it's still pretty good. It's not bad at all whatsoever. The torpedoes still hit hard. They are also very ridiculously weird to aim. Like, you can basically outmaneuver a battleship with these torpedo bombers, which you might see countless times maybe in this video. Like, you can literally maneuver your planes with the bombs and with the torpedoes in such a way that they will not going to lose their aim. This is the biggest gimmick of FDR if you don't know that, okay? But the problem is, the moment there is a cruiser with defensive fire, you will see that these planes will definitely gonna take some damage. Yes, they are tanky. Yes, they are powerful to even tank those flags, but they just lose out quite a lot of HP, which means they tend to get shot down. And at the same time, you also do not have, I would say, the plane. You do have a plane reserve, but you do not have the restoration time. If you look at the restoration time of the torpedo bombers, it's 127 seconds. So in 2 minutes, you will get more plane. And then same with the bombers, 2 minutes required. So you have to really find out either a battleship that is isolated, or a cruiser like Petro or Des Moines, maybe something like that. An isolated ship is the worst. I think he will have the worst of the worst time against a very good FDR player, but that the Shinano can also do the same thing. And even better, if you do have a division mate, you can smoke up with the help of bombs. You deliver so much damage with the dive bombers of the Shinano, and torpedo bombers and the AP squib bombers also deal really good damage. So Shinano does really well, but FDR stupidly hit battleships hard. Like, you do have so much tankiness of the planes, and with this insane alpha that you still cannot possibly able to have in a Shinano, that kind of makes it unique. Like, look at this, 13.9k, 14k damage, and I still miss out 2 bombs. If I would have gotten all bomb hits, all 8 pens onto a battleship like Satsuma, he would have been really taken a massive damage. And by the way, if you look at this Gdansk, watch out till the end. What will happen to this guy? That's unfortunately a bad thing for him, that I will kill him. Like, I don't have a word to say, but I will just wreck him. I will just make his life crazy miserable with the bombs. But even though I'm saying this, it does not usually happen. Yes, I got 2 bomb hits. I was lucky, and I will be lucky more later on. You will see eventually what I'm saying with against the Gdansk. But it's not good against destroyers. This is the biggest reason I do not recommend FDR, that it's not good against destroyers. If the destroyer pushes you, spots you, and especially that the destroyer does have a heal, you cannot kill him. You can only spot him for a long time, and can make your teammate shoot at you. Yes, you can do that, but other than that, the bombs have RNG like this. And this, you have seen it once, you will see it many times if you use these bombs against destroyer. This is the biggest weakness of the FDR. I have mastered it over the course of many games, how to land bombs on a destroyer. You will, I can tell you will struggle for a lot of reasons. So it's not easy. It's bombs utilization onto destroyers can be very rough. Now in this case, I will be stupidly lucky. Only 4 bombs, and I somehow managed to get 1 bomb with he having 11 HP is the most hilarious thing that I can think of. Yes, surely that's the case, but you will not gonna get lucky like that. And especially literally like that. I can guarantee you that. And that's why Shinano is superior. Shinano can aggressively play, and it does have smokes. Shinano also does really good armor. 30mm side plating is something that a battleship can dream of. But Shinano does have this dream come true in the form of that plating. So yeah. So FDR, even though it's a nightmarish thing against battleships, it will be a literally a nightmare, but Shinano is also the nightmare. Shinano AP skip bombs and the bombs combination with HE bombs can be also brutal, but FDR can just simply hover, drop, drop, drop until he pops into the ocean. Yeah, that's something if you want to have in FDR, yes, sure, you can do that, but I don't think so it's a good idea right now. The seaweed work is about to happen, and if you want to have a better chance against destroyers, FDR is not a good ship. Yes, in this case, I have dealt 19k damage, getting all 8 torpedoes onto the Colombo. Yes, you can do that. But the Shinano is also doing the same thing. Shinano torpedo bombers can deal with, even if you land all 6 torpedoes of Shinano, you can deal 30,000 damage. And FDR has to wait for at least couple of minutes, because then there is a 25 seconds of delay, which by the way you have seen that, right? I drop the bombs, then I have a 25 seconds of delay, and then I land the bombs once again. So there is a delay in that, and it just hates flags. It really hates flags. It really struggles if you do not know how to dodge the flag. Now in this case, I have to look at the planes. I have taken some flag damage. Now what really happens if you take flag damage in FDR, which you will do a lot if you start playing this ship? You will see, now in this case, well, you will see, oh my god, 16k damage. Oh my goodness, you have done insane damage. Oh my god, I want to get this ship. Bro, it's not easy to aim them. These bombs are carpet bombs. So, and then landing them, aiming them takes time. And I was talking about the flags. Look at the planes these bombers have taken. Now the problem is the yellow planes have, I think, 50% or maybe less than 50% HP. The problem is now these planes are not as tanky once you eat a flag. And what really happens is, if there is a good air cruiser and if you go with these planes, these yellow planes, right, which having 50% less HP. By the way, this S6 is a terrible, a ridiculously noob player, and I haven't even talked about that how bad this ASIC player really is. He has the best counter against FDR, and yet you will realize that he will just eat massive damage. I set a fire, he DCP'd, and now will get permanent fire. He has 24 HP left. I have taken, and by the way, this is something that you can do that in FDR if he's a dumb player, if the enemy CV is a dumb player. You can do that. You will lose 4 planes from his fighters. Sure, that's gonna be the case. But FDR has so many planes, and if he uses the fighter plane, you will just simply able to get a second drop. Now in this case, you can see that why I'm saying this. I get a second drop, I get 2 permanent fires, 7 bomb hits, and he will die from a fire. 24k HP that you were seeing is going to be poof. And why this is happening? Well, they have also changed the fire duration. Now that's benefiting not only the FDR but also all the carriers. But FDR, if he does that second drop onto an enemy ship, even the Shinano somehow, even though the Shinano is not the best of the targets against, I would say the bombs. If you use the bombs, they will not do well. Now in this case, look at that. That 24k HP is gone. 2 permanent fires, he has no chance, especially while I managed to get so many bomb hits. I was talking about the Gdansk, right? It has 15k HP. It does not, by the way, it does not happen at all. This is the most luckiest part of me when I played FDR, okay? But I was saying about the strengths and weaknesses and all the problems with FDR. FDR is great, right? It can work, and it's literally hilarious. It's the most disgustingly hilarious battle. It's literally the most disgusting aircraft carrier in farming battleships. But here's the truth: you will struggle against light cruisers and destroyers, especially if you just started playing that FDR nowadays, right? Or I would say if you have bought it recently, you will struggle, and that's why. Now this, if you look at this drop, yes, you will see, oh my god, I'm about to do good damage, right? This is 1 in 100. I'm not gonna say 1 in 100, but it's like 1 in 20 games that I get this sort of drop where I land 4 bomb hits. And he was playing stupidly potato. This will never happen for you. Maybe the RNG is maybe with you, and I really hope that the RNG will be with you. But if it does happen, well, consider yourself stupidly lucky. Otherwise, it does not happen. And now it's the same thing happened once again. I use the bombs, I drop him. I thought that this is not gonna happen, but I mean, I was literally laughing like a madman. Somehow managed to get 7 bomb hits onto that poor Gdansk. Now that is the craziest RNG I can have for FDR, and I might have used it, all of it, till the end of this year. So yeah, this is what FDR is. It can abuse really well. You can farm fires and floods onto the battleship, but my conclusion, and since the game is about to end, is going to be FDR is not good compared to the Shinano as of right now. Shinano can snipe better than FDR. FDR can snipe, especially after they have done some fire and flood changes. You will have now longer fire duration, sure, but Shinano can also do the same thing. And with the AP skip bombs, it's more devastating, and it can really counter FDR, A6, Shinano itself, Hakuryu, Nakimov, every single thing. So why play FDR, especially if you want to counter hard carriers? If you want to farm battleships, sure, go for it. It's disgustingly overpowered against battleships. It's literally a flying Conqueror. And I'm not really exaggerating it by any way. This is the reality. It's the flying Conqueror. If you want to buy a flying Conqueror, this is it. But if you really know that there is going to be, or I would say there will going to be, the CV spotting rework that can potentially change everything that you are seeing right now in FDR, you should wait and not buy it. Do not buy FDR. That's my final verdict. Maybe you can do that, totally up to you. Do have spare steel, sure. Team score wise, if you look at that, 1.9k base XP. They have nerfed the spotting, and well, the main has done really good job. I could have done better, maybe slightly better to get onto the top, but usually, especially after the spotting rework, I find also a bit difficult to have me in the top. But usually before the spotting changes, I usually get onto the top because I just hold massive spotting damage. But after, even though I'm using FDR, which still does spotting well, I still struggle to get those numbers what I used to have in FDR. So yeah, this can also be something that you should take in consideration before buying it, that they have done some spotting changes, torpedo damage nerf sort of to FDR, or I would say all the other carriers. But even then, it's a very interesting carrier. It's still hilariously broken against battleships. You will struggle against destroyers and submarines, destroyers, kind of submarines as well, and especially against light cruisers. So keep this in mind, where Shinano will not. I can guarantee you Shinano will do way better, especially like crazy against destroyers, and also do well against cruisers. FDR will struggle sometimes, for sure. Take care guys, I hope you liked the video. Any question is welcome. Peace out.